Hello, everybody. Welcome to a live chat. Live chat? More like a live stream, I guess. And my name is Chris. I've been doing these every day on my channel, Comic Tropes, for the month of October. I'm doing Inktober. It's an event where you try to draw something in ink every day of the month. There are official prompts, and today's was Caught. Made me think of the scene in Get Out, fairly recent horror movie. Maybe you'd call it a thriller, where the main character, Chris, is all tied up and he's picking away at the cotton. Let's see. We've got a bunch of people filtering into the chat room, and let's see. Hello to Compared, and hello RuneScape. Yes, day 30, almost done. Only one more after this. Only one more for Inktober, anyway. Hello Iron Shell, Beowulf, Alex Taylor, James Stewart, Ben S. Get Out was really, really good, wasn't it? That movie worked on a number of levels. It was really, really clever. So I like that. I like the completely ridiculous twist because thematically everything makes sense, and some really, really great actors in it too. So yeah, I actually really, really like that film. So I'm glad that I could come up with an excuse to put this. I'm sad to see the show come to an end this month. Well, I appreciate the support, man. I will be doing more live streams. I always do. Just not daily. Daily is tough. Daily has been tough. And personally, I'm really looking forward to having that hour and a half to 2 hours back to work on other things. It's going to make a big difference. It's been a tough month. Let's see. Yeah, Jordan Peele, man, what a find. And while I didn't like his follow-up quite as much, I'm forgetting the title, Us, it was still interesting. It was still a good movie. It just didn't compare, like Get Out was something special. But Us was still weird and interesting and had some effective scenes, some good performances. So I definitely think Jordan Peele is a director to keep an eye on. So that's interesting. I've been doing all right, Iron Shell. The girlfriend in this movie was pretty hot. Yeah, what's your name? Something Williams from Girlfriends? Was that the name of the show? No, that was like a WB show. What was the name of the HBO show with Hannah and all them? Tomorrow is Halloween. Hello, Daniel. And I'm happy. Let's scare some people. Yeah, let's. Hello, Franco. Hello, Matthew Gurwitz. You think it was overrated? I loved it. I thought it totally worked. Let's see. Hello, Brian Lang. Yeah, I know. Already day 30. Girls. Thanks, James. Girlfriends. I was like, that doesn't sound quite right. Yeah. You know what? This is like creepy lighting, but let me take a second to turn on some lights around here, make it a little more even, and I'll get into inking. Give me a moment here, folks. Yeah, I think that's a little friendlier. Hello, AWSM and Jack. An episode on Maximum Carnage. Haven't really considered it strongly, but I'm not against it. You looked lit, Chris. Yeah, it was a little scary, right? I'm in a new neighborhood and I don't know how many kids are going to come trick-or-treating here this year, so I just went ahead and got a ton of candy. But I'm going to actually be working pretty late tomorrow, so tomorrow's live stream probably going to start somewhere around 10 p.m. Pacific, pretty late, but kind of after the Halloween hours for anyone that's going out and doing stuff. If you can still swing by even on Halloween night, grateful to have the company. That's all I'll say. Put that out there. let's see, who else has jumped in here? Hello, Ben S. and Robert Champion. Hello, Ren Auntie. Let's see, one more day left. I know. Hello, Sigamigs. If Chibi were human, what would its voice sound like? I don't know. I think it would sound pretty. I think she's a pretty girl. I don't know exactly what it would sound like, but somebody with a sweet voice. Even though I know we only hear her sort of plaintively meow every once in a while when she wants attention, she's got a great purr, and for most of her life she's been an absolute, like, really a treat to hang out with. She's just so fun and cuddly and likes to play. She's in her older years now, and I'm willing to you know, help her out and take care of my cat because she was such a good friend for so many years when she was younger and more energetic and stuff. She still likes to sit on my lap a lot. Hello, Dean. Nice to have you here. Hello, Elmer Sr. Yeah, my acting wasn't too bad. Well, thank you. I appreciate so many of you jumped into the premiere of my friend's little independent short film last night, and obviously my role was pretty small, but I approached it about as seriously as I could. You know, my role, I figured, was to deliver exposition as efficiently and quickly as I could. Like, the stuff I was talking about is sort of the theme of the movie. So I was like, okay, this is important to an audience's understanding, but I didn't want to, like, take focus away from, like, the main actors. So I underplayed it as much as I could and just, like, tried to get in the headspace of, like, you know, when I've taught classes on things, just tried to sort of get in that headspace of, like, you know, being in control, being happy, but, like, you know, yeah, so I did give it a lot of thought, even though it was a very small role. My role wasn't that small. No, but it's also not, like, directly tied into, like, all the action and stuff like that, so. I enjoyed it, Professor Pierce. Hello, Atomicus. Thanks for jumping in. Your cat would sound like Mr. Belvedere, Matthew. Nice. Oh, sorry you had an issue there, Matthew, but, like, the link is up there. It's the same link, and now it's up there permanently. Oh, are you really? You're on the 4th installment of Harrow already. What's your life story? Oh, that's I don't know where to start on something like that, JJ. Just a guy that's you know, decided to go to college and get a degree in marketing, but I've always loved comics. I've been reading them since I was about in middle school. That was when I got kind of serious into them, and a few years ago decided to do a YouTube channel because I'd been laid off from a job and I just wanted a project to keep myself busy while I looked for my next role, and I think it all paid off pretty well. Having a good time working on it. Uh-oh, I hear company coming. What could this be? A dinner! Oh, wow. What is... This is so many elements. Wow. Chrissy just cooked me this beautiful dinner. Look at that. We've got a salad. Is this pork?
Yes.
So some sort of pork stuff. That looks good. And some sort of noodles with, I don't know, is that cheese? Peanut sauce.
Yeah.
What a dinner. This is amazing.
Bon appetito.
Great creation, Chrissy. The peanut's delicious. Thank you. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to have to put this to the side. Bear with me. Dinner time. Jeannie! I was born of the sea. Hello, Ian. Didn't that look good? That is really good. I gotta grab another bite of this. Oh, man. Chrissy is a good cook. I'm so lucky. I'm so fortunate. I will cook sometimes. I'll be honest. I don't cook that much. Chrissy's just really, really talented, and I've become a little spoiled. It's a treat. It's a treat. Whew. All I want to do right now is eat, but I'm gonna work on this, chat with y'all, and see where everything goes. Gene, you're almost ready for the craft fair this weekend? I know you've been creating a bunch of stuff. Oh, my sister helped rescue a kitten, everybody. So she went over to my mom's house. She was helping with our mother, like, I don't know, organize some stuff or something like that. And she heard a really faint sound. It was crafting as we speak, yeah. And she heard a kitten. And they went outside 50 feet up in one of the trees. Way, way high up. A poor little kitten had, like, gotten out of its house and climbed a tree, climbed way too high for anyone to easily get at it. And Gene put out a notice on, like, you know, social media for, like, that like, you know, the town all follows, telling people about what's going on. And eventually, a gentleman that had a tree cutter truck, you know, like the cherry picker type thing that can, like, raise up, how did it get there? It climbed. It just like ran. It was a little kitten that didn't know any better, and it climbed way higher than it knew how to get down from. Cats do that. Cats will do that. And but she got a hold of somebody that came and rescued it. The tree guy who came today said it was 55 feet up. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? Hello, Retro. You gotta go? Well, thanks for jumping in. Hello, Eric Liberty. I see that. Great to see a bunch of familiar names. Hello, Daniel. Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones. Yeah, that was definitely a unique Batman artist. He benefited from coming in at, like, you know, when Batman is at, like, one of its all-time highs with Nightfall and everything. He definitely has a distinct Batman. There's no question that Kelly Jones is super distinct. Personally, those ears, I think, got a little out of control. I understand the exaggerated musculature, but my God, those ears. Lucky kitty to have you guys and the tree truck handy. I know. Isn't that amazing? That's great. Let's see. Iron Shell's reading the current IDW Transformers Galaxy series. The Insecticons are cannibals? That kind of makes sense to me. The Insecticons were always sort of presented as kind of pretty big weirdos that lived on their own and, like, did some weird stuff. Like, they made their own clones and stuff in the cartoon. I kind of always dug that. I can buy them as sort of cannibals. There's plenty of bugs that are cannibalistic, so makes sense to me. I'm going to take another bite of this stuff. I hope you guys aren't too offended. I just, you know, I don't want it to get too cold. It looks really good. I got to try this salad. Okay. Got sort of, some sort of like a Asian sauce on it. Like, I don't know, miso or something. Good. Chrissy's the better cook. Inktober mukbang special, exactly. People are into this now. I have a few things that I consider myself good at cooking. Let me finish what's in my mouth. Probably, to answer Iron Shell's question about my favorite Transformer, I've always really liked Soundwave. some of that was just growing up when cassette players were new enough and cool, and I just always liked his look, and I really liked his voice on the cartoon. Thank you for the compliment, Matthew. Wow, Lazy Cat Comics, thank you so much. Super Chat says, unable to watch but wanted to send support. Well, you did. Thank you so much. Maybe you can watch later. Hopefully you can jump in tomorrow night or one of my future episodes. Always happy to have you. The Transformers that combined into Devastator, that was the Constructicons. They were fantastic. I had a lot of Transformers as a kid. That was my big thing that I was into, and that's what's got me into comics. Was I was really into Transformers, and I found a Transformers comic book, so I started reading that. And because I was going to like this store after I finished my paper route, like at the end of each week, and I was picking up Transformers, I just started like being curious about some of the other books that were there, and started getting like Spider-Man, G.I. Joe, and it like really all spread from there pretty quickly, and I got into a lot of comics. But it was all because originally I was just like, oh cool, more Transformers. Yeah, I worked a lot as a kid. Like I had 2 paper routes, and I kept those from like, you know, like 5th grade all the way until I graduated high school, and then I passed them off. I babysat a lot, I mowed lawns a lot, and when I was 16, I started a 20-hour job, 20-hour a week job at Walgreens. So I was making a good amount of money, and I put a lot of it towards comics. I had to contribute a certain amount of money every week towards college. My parents made me do that, but I still had, with all those jobs that I just described, I mean, I really had them all at the same time. I've always been like somebody that works a lot. So I got a lot of comics at a young age. I have not read IDW's More Than Meets the Eye comic. Do you recommend it? I've seen the Netflix Toys That Made Us All the episodes. They're really fun. If you had offers right now, would you rather work for Marvel or DC? Be a privilege to get to write some of the characters at either. I would, if I was somehow able to have the choice, I probably have a few more ideas for certain Marvel characters, just because I read a few more of their comics growing up, but and just like, you know, have a little bit of, you know, like, you know, a fan boner for some of them. But there's a lot of DC stuff that I like, and I think that they're doing a lot of good stuff these days. Yeah, what's a newspaper? Daniel says, Soundwave is the only Masterpiece I own. Oh, that would be really cool. I would love to have a Masterpiece Transformer. That's right, I forgot. Gene's right. I was a Carrier of the Year. I forgot. Wait, I don't know if I was Carrier of the Year. I think I was Carrier of the Month. And because I don't think I was Carrier of the Year. I think I was Carrier of the Month. But yeah, you get like a profile in the newspaper. I totally forgot about that. That's so funny to like sort of think back and remember that. And you get like a gift certificate, and there was like a dinner where like all the people that had won, like, you know, best of the month throughout that past year were invited to like a fancy ballroom and given awards, and we all had a nice dinner with our families and stuff. It was, yeah. It was a different time. Newspapers were more of a thing. Okay. Seeing a recommendation for that. Nope, haven't read the IDW Godzilla comics by Matt Frank. I did read the IDW Godzilla comics by James Stokoe, and those are pretty cool. I like those. You used to bullseye Womp Rats in your T-15? So did I. By the way, Chibi's here. Want to poke your head up and say hello? She's on my lap. Hello, Jeff. Yeah, I went to a banquet. It was a nice evening. I don't remember it super well at this point. It's so long ago. But I was proud of myself at the time. I took the work pretty seriously. because I grew up in the Northeast, we'd have, some pretty snowy winters, and it just was trudging through the snow was so much work that it actually was a little easier to do my job on super snowy days to bring a sled out and put all the papers in the sled and just lug the sled across the yards and stuff and the streets. And sometimes I would take Jean with me and I would pull her for a ride in the sled. Jack says he loves Marvel's Godzilla. I did an episode covering that entire run. I think that was pretty cool. It was a 12-issue series. And Godzilla's flat out just in the Marvel Universe, which was pretty cool. I'm going to try a bite of these sort of pork carnitas part. Wow. Peppery. Good. What are your thoughts on the Kickstarter controversy in comics? Oh, I haven't heard about this. Is there a discussion currently going on about Kickstarter in comics? I think it's a great way for sort of emerging artists, including writers, to get into comics. I think it's a really smart way. Fin Fang Foom was around before Godzilla, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me look it up, because in the 50s, Marvel did a bunch of different monsters. I don't have my phone. I can't look it up. Somebody else Google it. Godzilla was like 1954. You've been able to do Kickstarter for comics for quite a while, James. But Fin Fang Foom may have come out before Godzilla. Comics have engines. Creativity. Fin Fang Foom 61. Okay. So Godzilla definitely did come out first. I still don't think he was really intended to be a ripoff. I think he was just created to be sort of a dragon type of monster. Because they didn't really tell Godzilla type stories per se. I guess I'm thinking more of like characters like Groot. Groot was around in the 50s. Yeah, Jean is younger. She's little. She's tiny. Is anybody else in this chat room by any chance a Twin Peaks fan? Twin Peaks is a show that I really, really like a lot. And I'm just curious real quick before I potentially talk about it, whether anybody here also has seen it all and likes it. And it's totally okay if you haven't. I mean, it is going back a long time. Yeah, I know. Marvel should have had Godzilla go up against Fin Fang Foom. That would have been amazing. But they had Godzilla go up against a bunch of like sort of original monsters. They had him go up against S.H.I.E.L.D. They had him go up against the Champions, which included like Hercules. So they did do a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, they didn't get around to versus Fin Fang Foom. Okay, Beowulf's seen Twin Peaks twice. Daniel says back in the day. I mean, it came back like, a couple years ago. So, love Twin Peaks. Cool. David Bowie was a toaster in the news. He was more like a tea kettle or something. Let's see. Yeah, Hercules toppled Godzilla, which was kind of cool. And he also in the end went up against like the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. He went up against all of them. So like Godzilla could take on like basically all the Marvel superheroes at once, which was kind of cool. He should be appropriately like, a big threat. Like anyway, so somebody out there, this guy, it might be called something like Twincast or something, but he just released a video like a day or two ago where he has a theory on like what Twin Peaks was all about, like trying to explain, especially like the weird like ending of The Return, which is the show that, like, basically season 3. It's 4.5 hours long. It's a 4.5 hour long YouTube video about somebody's personal theory about Twin Peaks. I'm going to watch it. 4.5 hours. I'm like, oh my God. That is like borderline, like, insane. Anyway. Godzilla defeat heart disease. I love Twin Peaks. For me, like, I like things that are about sort of like dream logic and that. So, like, I really like David Lynch's work. I can totally understand that it is not for everybody. Totally get, like, a lot of people say it's too weird for them. I get it. For me, I really enjoy it, like, on an emotional level, and like, just sort of. But all the clues are basically there to make sense of his stuff. He just never spells it out, and he'll never talk about it in, like, commentary or an interview to explain any of his films. So it sort of requires a little bit of work on the part of, like, the audience to completely figure it all out, and I kind of like that. Anyway, I'm very curious to see what this gentleman has come up with. 4.5 hours. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I've seen Jacob's Ladder. That's a pretty freaky movie. Somebody, like, sort of hallucinating and stuff like that. Another movie that, like, has some quick moments of, like, some weird hallucination stuff, but that's not what it's about, but it's effective, is Angel Heart. Yeah, Jacob's Ladder's good. Serpent and the Rainbow is kind of good and surreal. Rescue Rangers. I don't know Rescue Rangers. Happy Devil's Night. Hello, no. Hello, Lawrence Dunn. Lynch is a genius. His take on Dune is highly underrated. His take on Dune is weird. I'll give it that. I kind of enjoy it for what it is, but I can also understand how, like, fans of the Dune novels might sort of be like, it's not really an perfect adaptation, but it's a hard thing to adapt. A bunch of people saying they appreciate Jacob's Ladder. Yeah, Ian. This guy, like, definitely put a lot of work into his theory. I'm looking forward to seeing that, Justin, as soon as I get some time. I want to see The Lighthouse very badly. Oh, yeah, Myopic. I agree. Denis Villeneuve is, or however you pronounce his name, but his movies have all been rock solid. Arrival, just like a movie about language and like, I don't know, just like, what do you call it, like inner turmoil about, like, the past. It was really good. But I think Blade Runner 2049 was very underrated. Not the Charlie Sheen movie Arrival. This was more recent than that. Same name. That said, the Charlie Sheen movie Arrival, not too bad. Not too bad. Am I going to see Terminator Dark Fate? Probably. But, like, kind of nervous about, like, it because I haven't liked any of the sequels after 2. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's see. Krabenak, hello. Have I thought of becoming a professional artist? Not really, to be honest. I think I'd prefer to write. I just like drawing. I don't think I quite have the skills to be on a monthly book or anything like that. I don't know, I mean, I'd take the opportunity. But if it came to me, I would never say no, but I don't think that, like, my work quite has what people are looking for. I don't know. And I'm not trying to sound like I've got a lack of confidence. I'm just trying to be realistic. Hello, Michael. Hello, Clay. People are saying it's the best since 2. That's not a huge hurdle to climb. Hello, Jeremy. Yeah, I sort of know what you mean. Harrison Ford wasn't like 100% essential to Blade Runner 2049, but I like that it sort of like subverts some expectations having him in there. And I didn't mind him at all. Like it just, yeah. I don't know. I really liked 2049. I sort of feel the same, Sheldon. It's a Terminator movie and Schwarzenegger's in it, so I sort of feel like it. Crabinax asking if I became a writer, would I rather work for a larger company or your own indie piece? I mean, I think ultimately I'd rather do my own ideas, but I'd certainly be happy to take a paycheck and work on some of my favorite characters. I think that would be a blast. But ultimately, I probably would prefer to get some of my own original ideas out there and sort of, keep the profits for myself, more or less. DC and Marvel and them, they pay a good wage, but obviously you're creating material that they'll be using for decades potentially. Like say you just created Thanos, and you're just thinking that like in a comic that would be like a one-time villain or something, and then like years and years and years later he ends up becoming the central focus of a series of movies, and it's like you're not necessarily getting totally rich off that, but Marvel's making billions. No, I didn't see the Extra Blade 2049 stuff. I didn't get that Blu-ray, I guess. I mean, I try not to buy too many, but yeah. Thank you, Felipe. Did I like Stan Lee's take on DC's heroes imagining them? Not really. Wasn't really. I was like, eh. Dude, isn't Batista kind of like a surprise, like a revelation? There's not too many actors out there. Excuse me, let me restate that. There's not too many professional wrestlers who actually become good actors, or at least like bankable actors. Like Hulk Hogan was like a huge star in wrestling, but he wasn't really a star for like movies. And lots of other actors have like tried their hand. I think that like John Cena's carving out a bit of a niche because he's pretty good at comedy, surprisingly enough. The Rock is definitely sort of the gold standard of a successful professional wrestler. The guy oozes charisma. Yeah, they did establish that Sarah Connor died from cancer in Terminator 3, James, but this new one, Dark Fate, like just ignores Terminator 3, Revelations, or whatever it was called, and Genesis. It ignores all that. So, CM Punk is becoming an actor? Okay, I give him a try. Roddy Piper wasn't bad at all in They Live. I think that The Rock has done a few things where he's actually acted. He's been in some kind of bad action movies, but whatever. He works a lot, and he himself is always like the best part in it. But it was certainly a surprise to see Batista, and I'm like, okay, well, he knocked it out of the park being hilarious as Drax. But is that like a one-time thing? And then you see him in something like Blade Runner 2049, and you're like, okay, the guy's got a little bit of range, and he's good. Thank you. James Stewart sends in a super chat, says, comic tropes renewed my interest and love for comics. I appreciate your expansive knowledge, sense of humor, and authenticity. Cheers. Well, I appreciate that you're along for the ride. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Any tips for breaking into comics? That depends on what role you want to break in, but I will just say that the best thing you could probably do is basically self-publish your own thing, just to show that you can get something done. That proves a lot to any editor or publisher out there. Let's see. Favorite movie of The Rock's is Pain and Gain. My friend Ken was in that one. Ken Jeong. He got to work with The Rock in that. It was actually a pretty good movie, and probably like the best overall, in my opinion, as a movie by Michael Bay. It's actually sort of about something. Yeah, Batista was in Spectre as Mr. Hinks. It was a very effective, threatening enemy. Very cool. Very cool. Excuse me. So yeah, anyway, Batista's done definitely a few movies. I didn't see Stuber. That thing didn't get great reviews, and I love Kumail Nanjiani. I obviously like Batista. I'll rent it, but it didn't necessarily look that original. I hope it's decent. Yeah, right? In Moana, like The Rock actually could sing a little bit. When am I teaching Psych 101? No time soon. Yeah, I saw Ken's interview where he did the hot wings. I like that. Yeah, I agree, Clay. Batista eats a lot to maintain his mass. Yeah, I'm pretty good friends with Ken Jeong. He was doing his residency as a doctor down in New Orleans when I was a college student, and we did like stand up and improv and stuff like that to get together, and we've remained in touch. Talked to him a little bit every once in a while, and like what was it, like 2 months ago or something? He came to do stand up here, and he was kind enough to get tickets for my fiance and I, and we all hung out afterwards. So great guy, very humble. Very, very sweet, very funny in real life, like just hanging out, like just naturally really, really funny. I'll tell you something though, having like super successful friends like Ken Jeong and Robert Kirkman can like sort of eat at you. You're like, well, what am I doing with my life, you know? Like it seems like it's not that hard to become a millionaire. What am I doing? Yeah, I don't think he spoke much in The Man with the Iron Fist. That was, I think, the first thing he really did. Your list of famous friends is impressive. Yeah. He was super nice when I came to visit you in college. Right? Just a nice guy. I'm glad you got to meet him, Jeannie. I am. I'm happy for his success. He's a very hard worker. Anybody who became a doctor and then is also working to achieve a career in stand-up and acting, you're like, oh, this guy's a hard worker. And I think that's the kind of thing that I'm sort of attracted to, and the friends that I find is like hard workers. There's something about that personality that I'm like, this is somebody that I want to like hang out with and get to know. I have all of you, Brian. Hello, Difficult. Let's see, have I read any of the MK comics? What MK comics? You mean Marvel Knights? I'm filling 48 people's hearts with entertainment and happiness, and also cholesterol. Don't sweat other people reaching success. Life isn't a contest. That's great advice, Jojo. It's definitely something I try to keep in mind. It's something Chrissy's good at reminding me. Sometimes it's hard when you have very successful friends. But they've earned it, they've earned it. I'm a celebrity in my own right. Well, I keep it, I work on it. Oh, Mortal Kombat comics. No, I've never read Mortal Kombat comics. Sorry, I thought of Marvel Knights first. Yeah, and I love doing this channel, JJ. Oh, today I had a meeting with the kind folks at YouTube that run their studios in Japan, in Tokyo, and I've confirmed my space there. I'm going to be recording an episode in 4 weeks in Japan, and I'm going to record it in an actual studio, in their studio. It'll pretty much be the same content that I always do. I just will have a different set just to make it a little unique. And I figured, why not? Maybe I can learn a few things, like trying some of the equipment that they have available. They have a lot of really amazing sound and audio equipment there, so I'm definitely excited to utilize that. Hopefully learn a little something. And that episode will like I'll then have to edit it, and then I have to submit it to them for approval since I'm using their facilities. But just know that like sometime in December I should have a slightly different episode with some bigger production values because I'll be shooting in a studio. The closest to celebrity friends is the astronaut John Glenn by proxy. Wow. I would love to meet an astronaut. I've never met like an astronaut in person, but that's somebody that I like. Any astronaut I'm going to tremendously admire because I feel that like in a lot of ways, like every astronaut sort of represents a pinnacle of human achievement. They have to be very healthy to be able to go up there physically, and they have to be very, very smart, and they have to have like, courage and reflexes and stuff like that. And they're going up there for noble reasons. They're not just going up there to get rich or something. They're going up there to do experiments and perform scientific experiments to learn about how the universe works and potentially benefit us somehow. So yeah, like I definitely admire astronauts a lot. I would love to meet an astronaut someday. That would I just want to talk to them forever. Yeah, to be an astronaut, you have to be the tops. Like, not many people can become astronauts. That is a tough, tough path. The grades needed to even have a shot is insane. Yeah. You either you have to at least either be one of the absolute best of the best, smartest and best in the Air Force or in a very specific scientific field and be capable of learning how to be an astronaut. Like, in some ways it's part of why I don't love the movie what is it, what was the Michael Bay movie where they all had to blow up an asteroid, Armageddon. I can deal with some Michael Bay stuff. I like The Rock. I like the first Transformers. Like I liked Pain and Gain. But that one was pretty brutally stupid. That like somehow there's an asteroid coming that's going to blow up Earth. Okay, and NASA, in their infinite wisdom, figures it's easier to train some professional miners how to become astronauts as compared to training astronauts on how to drill properly. Doesn't really make too much sense. Yeah, I think that movie is out, Jojo. They do meet and greets at the Kennedy Space Center. Oh, I didn't actually know that. Nerves of steel. I know, man. You're strapping yourself to pure explosives and being like, yep, I trust that, like, our scientists have figured all this out. Can you imagine? I would love, if I was wealthy, I would pay so much for the chance to do like like a suborbital flight or something like that, just to sort of experience like a measure of what it is to be an astronaut and be in space. I would sincerely pay like a fortune if I was wealthy. Let's see. Also, before becoming astronauts, didn't they work on an oil rig in the middle of an ocean? Yeah. They were just oil drillers, and supposedly it was easier to train them up to become an astronaut rather than just tell an astronaut, yeah, you need to turn that drill on. They should have been able to knock it off its trajectory. It's so weird. So weird. Yeah, Armageddon and The Rock are both in the Criterion Collection because for a short time there was a period where you could pay to have your movie become a Criterion Collection piece. Criterion like opened the doors and like, yeah, Michael Bay was like, yep, I want a Criterion Collection version of my films. And Criterion was like, yeah, okay, maybe this was a mistake. Because it doesn't really do much for your overall brand of like quality and stuff like that. Yeah, Justin Timberlake paid $1 million to go in orbit in a shuttle. I would totally do that. Oh, I've never seen Garath. thank you, Jack. I'll try to keep that in mind. Gorath, I'd be curious to see it. Hello, Taki. I thought the guy that found the asteroid named it after his wife. I don't know. Criterion Collection of Transformers 5. Jesus. The Criterion Collection just this past Tuesday released a series, their number 1000, their Spine 1000, Godzilla, the first movies that were all in what's called the Showa era. And personally, that's something I'd really, really like, but I'm not going to be able to afford it anytime too soon. But, I don't know about you guys. Like, I'm saying that because, like, I like Godzilla a lot. I really do. I think Godzilla's pretty damn cool and interesting, and I like those movies. I really like them. So, once I can afford that, I'm going to definitely get that, like, Criterion collection of Godzilla. I think that that's a very wise investment of my funds. Because it would make me happy. That's the thing. Owning things makes you happy. So the goal in life is to own as many things as you can, because then you'll be happier. Just giving you bad advice, don't worry. Barnes & Nobles has a 50% sale on Criterion during November. They probably won't for, like, the newest ones, though. But I'll look. They also sort of bump the price up, though, over what you can get it for on Amazon. And I know Amazon is able to do that because they basically just pay their workers pennies, but what can I say? I mean, we're all on budgets, right? I've met some employees that work as like warehouse workers on Amazon because, you know, they're based here, and I've met them at like work and stuff, and they put in some hard work, long hours, and just getting paid minimum wage. It seems like a really tough job to be one of the people at their warehouses, like about as tough as any job you could imagine in terms of like what they physically ask of you versus like what they're paying you. It seems really rough. You used to work for Amazon, it was okay. Okay, well, maybe that, you know, I've heard some things. I don't know. Rodan has his own movie, though, Justin, so you could see the Rodan movie to see him get a fair shake. I worked at Amazon corporate. My team was good, but lots of the developers' lives were hell. I've also met people that have worked in corporate, and yeah, I mean, they basically at Amazon seem to expect you to either constantly sort of improve and you know, move forward in your career, or if you're stagnant, they're going to say, hey, we had a good run. Thank you for being with us. See ya. They want you to constantly be moving up in the ranks, or it's bye-bye. Monster Zero, yeah. Yeah, he does the dance where he's like, "Arr." Wait, let me get back here. I think Godzilla does this dance. He jumps up and goes like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." There's probably a GIF about it, an animated GIF. Hello, Alice Semp. They structure their hiring offers based on you leaving after 2 years. Jeez, I didn't know that. King Kong God versus Godzilla. Well, I hope it's good. I definitely liked of like the recent American Godzilla and King Kong type movies, my favorite so far was Kong Skull Island. That was overall like I think the best overall movie. I think that one was pretty entertaining and cool. It definitely made me curious to see more by the director Jordan Vogt Roberts. So hopefully he does some cool stuff in the future. I thought he did a really good job with Kong. Godzilla versus Megalon for the tail slide. Absolutely. That's also a hilarious animated gif. He like runs and he does like a running jump kick and he slides along his tail and does a double drop kick to Megalon. Does it twice in a row if I'm remembering right. And then finally, like like in terms of iconic weird Godzilla fight moves or celebrations, I would say his there's a I'm trying to remember which movie. I think it's against the smog monster. Godzilla shoots his atomic breath, jumps up, curls his tail under him, and flies through the sky backwards. It's weird. Yeah, the Godzilla tail slide is hilarious. Sorry, I just need to keep eating, or I die. I know what you're talking about, Sigamigs. Welcome to the Comic Tropes Mukbang. Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar's kind of stupid, but I also kind of like him. That was the result of Toho had a contest, design a character for like the next Godzilla movie, and some kid won it with like a pretty weird robot design. But Jet Jaguar got his own theme song. Jet Jaguar. I didn't have work today specifically. However, I did go to work and sell a car. I had a customer that was just a little bit older, and I felt I'd been talking to her for like a week on the phone, helping her find the right car and line up financing and everything. And I just sort of felt like if I handed that off, there could be some confusion or something. So I went in for about like 3 hours today just to help her out, and then the rest of my day, I've been working on like the script for Comic Tropes, working on an art page for a comic that my friend is doing, and then what else? Just this. So did I go to work? Yes. Did I have work? Not for like a full 8 hours, but it's been a busy day. Still a lot to get done. I would say that my days off these have become busier than my days at work, just because I have to accomplish so much to keep Comic Tropes and these live streams moving right now. And I just added the live streams, and I accepted the job to illustrate a comic page. So it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Oh, and then of course I also hosted the movie premiere for that like movie you all saw like online that I had a role in. I hosted the actual event for the director. He just asked me to like tell some jokes and do some trivia, do a costume contest, stuff like that. So really only had like one joke. I was like, I can't just on the spot come up with a bunch of horror movie themed jokes, but I joked about and I was joking about it here on the show a couple nights ago, the movie The Lift, about a haunted elevator. All things considered, pretty easy to avoid. Haunted elevator. It's not going to chase you. You click the reminder button and it never popped up. That sounds like a YouTube problem, but the episode is still up there. Let me see if I can open a second window. Bear with me. I'm pulling something up and then I'm gonna be able to give you guys a link. All right. Here comes a link. Don't expect a lot necessarily because it is just like an independent short horror film, but I have a small role in that. Has anyone read Werewolf Cop? No, I don't think I have, Martin. What film is this from? Get Out. It's from Get Out. Pretty creepy movie that has a few things to say about race relations. I liked it. I thought it was very effective. A little bit of humor. A few good surprises and scares. And there was some actual meat to it underneath it all, which the best horror movies always have. You didn't like Get Out? I loved it. I thought it was really strong. I teach kids how to eat Doritos. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Who am I drawing? The character's name was Chris. I'm trying to. I don't know if I can remember his last name. Sorry. And what's cool is he's got a scene where he's tied up and he literally escapes by picking cotton. He picks cotton from the chair. And I thought that was a pretty amazing little visual metaphor to have like a black guy escape by picking cotton. Like, wow. I wouldn't have thought of it. Jordan Peele had a good idea there. Symbolism. There you go. Tales from the Hood. I think I did see that. Yeah. People are talking about Lone Wolf and Cub. That was pretty cool. Hello, Watchful and Harmonious. Did it go over your head, Dean? Oh, okay. Well, hopefully now you can appreciate it on a second level, I guess, the next time you see it. But yeah, that's how he escapes, by doing that. Just seeing how much I wanted to black out. And the answer was all of it. Thanks, JoJo. Appreciate the support. Lone Wolf and Cub influenced some of Frank Miller's artwork. Yeah, definitely in a big way. Throughout the 80s, it was clear that he was inspired by Lone Wolf and Cub. Who am I inking? Chris from Get Out. are there single issues of Lone Wolf and Cub? There were originally. I don't know how easy it would be to find anything like that now. Your best bet to read Lone Wolf and Cub is probably going to be the little collected trade paperbacks by Dark Horse Comics. That's going to be the easiest way to read it at this point. What comic did everyone pick up here? I'm really enjoying Stepan Sajic's Harleen. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Get Out. Get Out is, without spoiling it, this main character, Chris, is dating a white girl, and she sort of strong-arms him into coming to visit her parents kind of early in their relationship. And they've got like one or two black friends that do not act like he would consider a black guy to act. And so it's all about like they're doing something weird to black people there. And it's a mystery from there. So it's all about like identity and yeah, I don't know. I guess that sort of says it. Let's see. A lot of people talking about liking Stepan's art, and I agree. Amazing new artist, newish. I predict that guy could go very far. So this weekend will be new comic tropes, and I'll be starting Crime Month. It's another themed month. I know I just did Horror Month, but I just felt like it was a good time to do it. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and so we'll be talking about all sorts of comics that deal with crime in different ways. Definitely looking forward to it quite a bit. I think it'll have a mix of stuff that people like and stuff that maybe you haven't heard of, but or maybe you've heard of it a little, but you want to like know some more. So I'm pretty excited about it. If you don't have a prompt for tomorrow, you can do meat. I think tomorrow's prompt is ripe, and I've got an idea for it. But we'll see. I try not to think too far ahead, but I've got an idea. I'm not feeling the magazine size of the Black Label books. Not all of them are magazine size. The Batman one that I'm reading right now, Curse of the White Knight, is still traditional comic book size. Tomorrow's Halloween. Do something related to the holiday. Well, it'll be related to horror, so that to me that's related to the holiday. spooky live stream tomorrow? I'll try. Will I continue live streaming drawing once Inktober is over? Definitely. I just won't be doing it daily. That's too much to do on an ongoing basis. This has already like sort of cost me overall, like, you know, a lot of other things that I could be doing. And I'm happy to do it for a period. I think it's a great challenge as an artist to just like, you know, stick to that ongoing schedule and hit those deadlines. But I'll definitely do them. I'll probably do them more like weekly after this. Just do it like, you know, on a day that I have off. But, you know, the sacrifices beyond like getting to spend a little extra time on comic tropes itself, you know, the biggest sacrifice, and I am okay with it, but it is a sacrifice, is I can't, you know, like go to the movies really or anything. I can't go out too much because I've got a lot of extra stuff to do. Oh, wait, hold on. KZ, wow. Look at this super chat. I know you've had a lot of needed expenses lately. Camera died. Spend this on something you want, not need. Wow. Wow. That's amazing, man. I will do my best. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah, that is nice, isn't it? Look at that. People talking about how nice it is. Gotta recognize that kind of generosity when you see it. All I can say is, you know, like, I appreciate it. You know, I'm putting a lot of work into these episodes, so it really is a privilege to be given something like that back. It's not expected, but it's a privilege. So thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It means a lot. Yeah. My little sister's impressed. It's really awesome. It's really awesome. Definitely makes me feel like doing more of these live streams when stuff like that happens. Can't argue that. But yeah, just doing it daily is really like tough. You know, even just drawing is one thing, but doing the drawing for like, you know, the live stream every day just requires a little bit more preparation, and I think I can draw a little faster when I don't have to like talk or engage or anything. I can just draw. You engage purely the creative side of your brain. You lose track of time, and you just get into it a lot faster. When you're doing it, and I'm also like sort of being a host, answering some questions and stuff, that's why I'm specifically sort of doing inking instead of like drawing in pencil. Like when I'm really like figuring out the drawing, I really need to engage purely the creative side of my brain. It's a lot harder to do that. Anyway, hopefully what I'm saying all makes sense. But yeah. So cool. Thank you again, KZ. Thank you for everyone like for the super chats this month. It's much appreciated. That's all I can say. Much appreciated. What happened to the kitty? Oh, the kitty got back to its house. It lived in the neighborhood. Somebody like had just got out the door, and but they got it home. They got it back to the owner. Hopefully that owner has learned a lesson and is going to pay much closer attention to that kitten, because it's a rascal. When is my next starring role acting gig? I don't know. That was just something that came across because my coworker at work, Martin, who wrote and directed the film, needed cast members. He knows that I do a show, and he just asked would I be willing to play a small role, and I said, yeah, I can make the time to do that. And it was a good experience. It really was. I thought that he really managed his set well. You know, he secured some good locations. Yeah. Oh, hello, awesome person. Just told a story earlier. My sister helped rescue a kitten in her neighborhood that had like ran 55 feet up a tree and was stuck there like overnight. But my sister kept out the call looking for people that could help and found somebody with a truck with like a cherry picker ladder that was able to get up there and save the kitten. So she's a hero today. I should get an agent. Yeah. I think I'd have to do a few more projects before an agent would want to take me on. But I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I liked I like doing the preparation of thinking like of exactly how to deliver my performance such that it would fit within the film, I'm not saying I delivered anything nuanced. It was just I enjoyed the preparation, trying to think of like, okay, how do I not take the focus away and fulfill my role? Like, what is my role within the context of the scenes and the overall piece? A kids show host, huh? Who knows? I have to admit that growing up, I had a lot of respect for, like, Mr. Rogers and stuff like that. That stuff got me interested in learning and trying to be a good person. I liked shows like that. I don't know that there's too many now. Have to admit that, not having a kid, I don't really watch like PBS or anything like that as much. I watched it for Downton Abbey. That's over now. Oh, shoot. I gotta check on the score of the game. I just realized we're doing all this, and it's the final game of the World Series. Bear with me. Sorry, folks. I do care about this. I don't have TV, so I can't watch it, but I am curious what the score is. Oh, boy. Okay. The Nationals are up 4-2. I'm a fan of the Nationals. They came to D.C. when I was living there. I know some of you could be Astros fans, but the game it's tied up. So whoever wins tonight wins the World Series. I'm a Nationals fan, so I'm definitely cheering for them. Oh my God, it's already the bottom of the eighth, I guess. So we're in the final inning, and the Nationals are up 4-2. Oh my God, they could win. Oh, man, that's exciting. I just realized that. Did you just, see my whole, energy change? As I was like, oh, my God, the game. If I had TV, it would be on in the background or something, but I don't have cable or anything. Woo! Minnesota Twins, they got swept, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm technically, a Red Sox fan. I'm from Boston, but I do like the Nationals a lot. I think that they're a great team. They're a great organization. Some really nice players. I think that there's a lot to cheer for there. They're just a good, wholesome team that play good baseball, and they've been working really hard the whole season. So it's exciting to see them get to where they are right now. Whoa! Another super chat? Look at this. Jeff says, thanks for all the hard work. Thanks for the support. It's my pleasure to put in hard work when you can have interesting, cool conversations with other people that appreciate the medium of comics like you all do. Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot. I don't have money riding on the game, no. It's just that, personally, I was invested, and, they were up 2 games, and then all of a sudden Houston won 3. So then they won last night, and they tied it up. So it's been a pretty exciting back and forth for it. Thanks, Jeff. That will definitely cover my bets. I mean, hockey, eh? Where in Canada are you, awesome person? It tears me up that people do this. It means a lot to me, too. The first time I ever got, a super chat, on this channel, I literally teared up because I was so surprised that, anyone would be willing to do that. Not as novel, but all I can say is it still means a lot when it happens. It means a lot. These $50 and $20 donations are stunning. That really makes a difference. But it's also super appreciated when people just come in and give $2. That still means a lot to me, and it's nice. All I really want from anyone is just watch the episodes. If you can hit like and subscribe, that helps me. This is above and beyond. Hello, Christopher. Is it Lex Luthor eating Jiffy Pop? It is not. It is not. This is Chris from Get Out, tied up and trying to escape from a chair. It's from a movie. A movie. Lex Luthor eats only pies. He steals them, and that's just awful. Metron or Wes Craven's Shocker. Well, bear with me, let me add a few more details here, and maybe this guy will start looking a little more like I mean him to. Tron Funkin' Blow. I don't know what that means. If you don't mind me asking, what does YouTube take out of Super Chats? I don't think they take anything out of Super Chats. If they do, it's very little. It's very little. Is Patreon better? Patreon doesn't take a ton. I think that the Super Chats I do get a little bit more. I'm pretty sure. I've never looked at it too closely, but I'm pretty sure YouTube takes less than Patreon. YouTube takes a lot more from like my ad revenue and stuff like that, but from things like Super Chats, I believe that goes... Did they take 10%? I'd have to look it up, and I don't have my phone, so I can't easily look it up. What do I think of Tron and Tron Legacy? I like them. I like them. I liked Tron when I was a kid. It holds up okay, like story-wise, special effects-wise. It's innovative, but like they haven't aged perfectly. But it's innovative, and it still supports the story. Tron Legacy. I just wish the story had a stronger sort of middle. I feel like the second act kind of drags quite a bit. Like there's not quite as much action. I just remember being pretty bored each time, like in the middle. Like, speed up or something. Do I have a tradition for Halloween, such as watch a horror movie or hand out candy? I wouldn't say that we necessarily have a tradition, no. We do tend to get candy for the kids. I'm a little more into it than she is. But she likes, giving... She likes the idea of it. When we lived at our last place, we realized we weren't getting many kids for Halloween. We just only would get like 8 to 10 or something. There just weren't a lot of kids in our neighborhood. It's mostly young professionals, not too many families. So what we did is we just started spoiling them every Halloween. What we'd do is we'd get full-size candy bars. We'd go to like dollar stores so that they weren't as expensive. But you get like full-size candy bars. I'd get a bunch of comic books. We'd even get like sometimes like activity books and things like that. Like we'd basically get, like maybe even some small toys, and we'd just put together like a bag full of like some full-size candy bars, comics, activity books, and a toy, and we'd give that because we were only getting like 8 to 10 kids. So like they all made out really, really well. That's something we did. Now we're in a new house in a new neighborhood, and I don't know how many kids we'll get. I think it's more residential. Like I think it's got like more families here. So I we just got candy. We just got like a bunch of fun-sized candy so that like, you know, we're sure we've got enough for everybody. Because I think there'll be more kids, and I don't think I could afford to quite be as generous as I used to be because there'll be so many more kids. But we'll see. I don't know what to expect. Do I think Doctor Sleep will be good? That's an interesting question, you know? What type of comics did I give out? It was all just like sort of family-friendly stuff for the most part. I'd let them choose. That's right. I'd let them choose the comics, just so that like I was sure that they were getting what they want. We got like a few Archies, a few Spider-Mans. What else? Maybe like one other thing. I think we had like Batman, Spider-Man, Archie, because it was all kind of like, you know, family-friendly stuff. I don't understand the question. Funky Pat, ask my neighbors. No says hopes the movie is good because the book was good. Yeah, I think that like you know, it's totally Stephen King's prerogative if he wants to make a sequel novel to The Shining. That's one thing, and that's kind of cool. But then like, you know, as far as is a good idea like to sort of make a movie, I don't know. That seems like a trickier proposition. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It didn't excite me too much, and I'm a Stephen King fan, and I love The Shining. I know Stephen King doesn't love the movie version of The Shining, but I'm probably a bigger Kubrick fan than I am a Stephen King fan, and I like The Shining a lot. But is it a good idea to have a movie sequel? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I haven't really made my mind up as to exactly how I feel. I think I'll just sort of wait for the reviews, and if the reviews are really strong, you know, I'm always up for sort of like a horror type movie, so I would go see it. But I don't have any like, you know, big thoughts on it. The comic Mob Stars, huh? On Webtoons? I've never like gone to Webtoons before. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah, I like Kubrick's Shining better, too. It exists in the Kubrick's film universe. That's what I'm curious about. Speaking of Halloween, every year on Halloween or Christmas, I play Nightmare Before Christmas. I want to ask if you've seen it. What do you think of it? I've only seen like the first third. I keep meaning to get time and see it. I've got so many friends that absolutely adore that movie, and here I am, Mr. Ignorant. I haven't seen it all the way through. So I know the characters of Jack Skellington, and I love the song "This Is Halloween." That's great, but haven't seen the movie all the way through. Still need to. What's my favorite Kubrick Shining theory? You know what? I haven't really read any. I just sort of take it for what it is. Friendship ended. Uh-oh. It's the best Halloween movie. Lots of people love it. Okay. I understand. Trust me, I've got a bunch of friends and coworkers that are mad at me too. I'll ask if any of them have it to borrow. Maybe somebody has it that I can borrow. Just being honest. I mean, we all have our gaps in pop culture knowledge, and that one's a little bit of one of mine. Looks like I done messed up, Aaron. You done messed up, Aaron. Nationals just scored again. Woo! Let's check on that. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Pretty exciting. For me. Maybe not you. Corpse Bride I haven't seen. Did not see that one. I think I just sort of went through a period where I was a little burned out on Tim Burton, I guess. So I guess I missed a few of his films. Because I also didn't watch his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Sweeney Todd. But I'm not against, like, Tim Burton. I mean, as a kid, I loved what he did with Batman. I'm a huge fan of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's one that I own, and I can rewatch that so much. I think that movie is hilarious and amazing. Also really liked Ed Wood. I thought that was pretty fantastic. So there's definitely a bunch of Tim Burton stuff that I like quite a bit. Just haven't seen it all. Beetlejuice. Oh, Beetlejuice is fantastic. Oh, thanks for watching, Matthew. Red Nax is here. Yeah, go Nats. Pee-wee is from my town. That's pretty cool. Sweeney Todd would be a good Halloween movie. Oh, yeah. Dark Shadows. Yeah, that was one where I gave it a try. I was like, ugh. What grade was I in when Batman came out? Let me think. I think 6th. I think I was in 6th grade. It was a big deal at the time, I'll tell you that. Man, people that had never, like, heard of Batman were, like, they all had a Batman shirt or a Joker shirt. It was an interesting time to be a comic book fan, seeing all these people just sort of, like, all of a sudden being like, yeah, man, Batman's so cool. There was so much excitement for that movie. It was crazy what the hype was like. Even though there's movies that do better now, I feel like the sort of hype beforehand doesn't quite equal some of what I saw when I was younger. But that just might be that I was younger at the time. I don't know. But, like, we definitely had certain movies that people were, like, just totally pumped for. Batman is still going. Yeah. Batman cereal. I remember Batman cereal. Look at this. Nats are up 6-2. I'm feeling good. Oh, just need to hold it through the end of the inning. Let's see. Gene's got a picture of me in New York City, and I'm wearing a Batman t-shirt. Oh, man. I remember from that time that, like, there was a huge Batman billboard in Times Square. We don't have a picture of something like that, do we, Gene? Am I excited for the Batman 2021 movie? Yeah, absolutely. I liked Edward Scissorhands' Jalopy. That was a cool one. I was in grade 8, and we were determined to see it opening night, and eventually had to settle for the drive-in. Oh, yeah, that must have been pretty dark, yeah. It's funny, at the time we were like, oh, what a serious take on Batman. But compared to what's come after, Batman 89 is still pretty campy. Yeah, Clay, the poster in, not a poster, it was just a huge screen in Times Square. It was just the Bat emblem. So good. The Rankin Bass TV Halloween special Mad Monster Party? That one is not one that I've seen, no. And I like Rankin Bass movies in general. I think that they have some pretty catchy songs, but that one is not one that I've seen. I wonder if it's on YouTube. Somewhere like that. Michael Keaton or Christian Bale, who's my favorite Batman? You know what? Personally, I would give it to Christian Bale, but I like Michael Keaton a lot. I do. He just sort of, he definitely did something different with how he played Bruce Wayne and all. I just think I think I like Christian Bale's duality there, with how he played everything. I like Christian Bale's Batman quite a bit. It's on YouTube, but not free. Okay. Okay. A couple people saying Mad Mad Monster Party's awesome. So, not surprised. Rankin Bass definitely made a lot of really cool stuff. So, noted. Thanks for the recommendation. I've got all the songs for Rudolph like memorized. I can sing all of them. Why am I such a misfit? I am not just a nitwit. They can't fire me. I quit. Seems I don't fit in. A flawless impression. Just an extra. Perfect. George Clooney is the best. George Clooney is a very good actor, but that poor guy. That was not a very good movie. Not so good. I don't know. Some people like Batman and Robin. I was pretty disappointed with it. It was a little too campy and silly for me. Which Batman had nipples? That was that was all Joel Schumacher's stuff. So Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Basically both Val Kilmer and George Clooney each had bat nipples. Oh, sorry, Batman. I love those Rankin Bass specials, though. It was very creative, like their sort of stop motion puppetry and stuff like that, and they had really good songs. I thought. I'll stand by that opinion. Remember the Bat credit card? Unfortunately, that one even like he popped it out and what did they do? They had like a credit card ka-ching sound effect, like a cash register ka-ching. That was in the George Clooney one. He's like, the back card, never leave home without it. And you're like, oh my god, you're making a joke based on an already like super old American Express commercial. Like who's that supposed to appeal to? Kids wouldn't get it. Parents would just be like, uh-huh. Yeah, I would say that, like, of all the Batman movies, my least favorite, it's a nicer way of saying worst, is Batman and Robin. It just didn't work for me. And some people I've heard, like, really appreciate it for, like, they find it, like, kind of funny and stuff, but it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. I'm not against humor in Batman. Loved the Adam West stuff. Loved it. I just, tonally, like, I felt like Batman and Robin was all over the place. Ice to see you. What killed the dinosaur? The Ice Age. Cool party. Alright, everybody, chill. What's your take on the Batman movies? Which represents the comic book the best? If I'm being honest, probably the one that represents the comic book the best, and keep in mind, like, there have been a lot of different interpretations throughout the comics, but probably Mask of the Phantasm, I would say, got the comics, like, the best. But in terms of like just best overall film, which I would rate on different criteria, I would say The Dark Knight. I think that's a very good movie in and of its own right, like not just being a superhero movie. So many puns. Arnold should have been Bane. Hey, stop. That actually makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, there were so many. Every single line by Freeze, Mr. Freeze, was a pun. It was so frustrating. And he had so many. He just had so many. It never ended. It never ended. Oh, why? Why did we have to deal with that? Listen, for it is the chilling sound of your doom. Lego Batman movie was awesome. Lego Batman movie was pretty funny and entertaining. That was pretty good. Hi. What are you, hungry already? I'm hungry, but I've got food. And it's delicious. Arnold will play Doctor Doom. I don't think so. Who would be a good Doctor Doom? Let's just fan cast. Personally, if he hadn't already been used, I would have said Mads Mikkelsen. They used him on a minor Doctor Strange villain, but I think he would have been a great Doctor Doom. Who, since he's not available now, who would you say would make a good Doctor Doom? I feel like it should be somebody with a good, East European accent. That's something I feel like that the actor should be European. Does anyone have a... Doesn't matter because I never want to see behind the mask. Yeah, but the voice and the mannerism is still important. Best Daniel Day-Lewis role. Oh, man. Probably... For me, anyway. It's not an easy question because that guy's just the best. But I think my favorite role that he accomplished was... I'm forgetting the character's name, but There Will Be Blood. I mean, that was a pretty complex, unlikable character that was still totally fascinating and interesting. Boy, did I really like his most recent movie where he was the tailor and everything. And I'm going to miss him. Who would I cast him as like, in a comic book or something, though? Comic book role? I mean, if he'd do it, somebody like Reed Richards. I know that he's older there, but, to get somebody of his caliber. Phantom Thread, yeah. Kevin Hart is Doctor Doom. Nailed it. Paul Bettany, okay. Wait, doesn't Paul Bettany play a role in the Marvel Universe? Paul Bettany. Isn't he Vision? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Dolph Lundgren? Well, he already played the Punisher. Yeah, he plays Vision. Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is great. One of the best. I'm going to miss him. He's officially retired from acting. He's Vision. He could still play it. Viggo Mortensen? It's an interesting idea. What's my take on Dark Shadows? The movie? Bleh. The Tim Burton movie? No. But the show? Pretty damn fun. Barnabas Collins. Very cool vampire. Very cool. What I liked about Dark Shadows is the same thing that I like about Doctor Who. It's a show that, like, its imagination outstrips its budget. And by that I mean, like, the writers basically just said, we're not going to take budget into consideration with our big ideas. Just envision it however you can. The audience is going to have to, like, just buy in with their imaginations. And we'll just go for, like, the biggest ideas we can. I feel like that's something both of those shows did. Daniel Plainview. Thank you for reminding me his name, Justin. I appreciate that. Vinnie Jones is Doctor Doom. Oh my god. The Doctor Who comics are pretty good. What, the current ones? Are they by Titan? Is that who's putting them out right now? The game's over, folks! The Nationals have won the World Series. I think that that's a pretty strong, happy note. I'm gonna call it a night on this drawing. I want to eat my food. I want to feed my meowing cats. I did this for a little, well, over an hour and a half. So, and I was drawing the whole time. Definitely, I went with a vision this time that would, like, have a lot of shading, a lot of work for like, you know, sort of folds and shadows and stuff like that. And that was fun. That was definitely, like, a blast to put in so much work on, like, the shading. But I'm gonna call it a night in a moment. Just want to say thank you to everybody for, like, you know, showing up, and of course, thank you for the super chats. Don't want to ignore any of that. I will be back tomorrow. Just to let you know, it's going to be a pretty late one tomorrow night because I'm working the evening shift. So I'm not going to be available until something close to, like, probably like around 10 p.m. my time. And that'll be the last, what do you call it? The last live stream for Inktober. But don't worry, I do plan on coming back for more drawing. Plenty of time to drink beforehand, yeah. Check out Mobstar, yep. Keep reading comics, keep your pencils sharpened. Good stream, good stream. James has met some of the Dark Shadows cast, very cool. The super chats in this stream were pretty impressive. They were, thank you all, thank you all. Expos win the World Series. Not sure that that's 100% right this time, but very grateful for everybody's continued support, and hope you enjoy the next episode of Comic Tropes. Going to talk about a writer who I'm sure a lot of you have read stuff by. If not the comic that I'm reviewing, I'm sure that you'll have read stuff by him. And so even though I'm talking about crime comics, I'll mostly be talking about this writer's techniques. So it'll be sort of a throwback to something that I used to do a lot more on this channel, focusing on a writer's techniques. So hopefully that's interesting to everybody. I'm going to call it. I want you to keep reading comics. Until then, bye.